Why didn't I do this sooner? Okay, you guys were right. I'll admit it. Welcome to my channel. My name is Mandy, the Handmade Homeschooler, and today I am going to tell you all about the Teaching Structure and Style course, if you want to say course. I guess it's a course from IEW. So this is Teaching Writing, Structure and Style, or as the acronym says, TWSS, because it is a mouthful. I have had so many people over the last year or two ask me about this seminar, the Teaching Writing, Structure and Style, and whether or not it's worth it to purchase this training when you are going into the Structure and Style from IEW. So grab your coffee, I have mine, and let's go over some of the things that I learned that were really important as somebody who's been using IEW for a couple years but never bought the TWSS. And I'll tell you some of the things that I think that were really neat that I learned from this course. What is TWSS? So IEW has a writing curriculum for students called Structure and Style. Now there are 6 levels, I believe, right now, and there are 2 for elementary, 2 for middle, 2 for high school. If you're totally lost on the levels and the years, which it can be confusing, especially if you're new to this, go online. They have levels A, B, and C, and then year 1 and year 2 within those levels. I know it can get really confusing. I get confused sometimes when I talk about it. So my middle schooler is going to be in level B. Level A is elementary. Level B is middle, C is high school, and then they have years 1 and 2 within those levels. So this is B, and my son will be doing this one in the fall when we get to the first day of school, which is actually right around the corner. And inside you get all kinds of things. You get like a teacher's manual, a binder, and then the actual course itself now is streaming online on IEW.com. Now here's where the confusion comes in. Because Andrew Pudewa is actually teaching the class to the students, a lot of people ask, do I even need TWSS, which is Teaching Writing, Structure and Style? That is the teacher training. This is meant to be a companion for these and for their non-streaming options like the Narnia. I know that there's some history, like some medieval history, I think there's a Bible one. They have all different kinds of standalone, non-streaming, non-computer based classes that are taught by you, the parent. So here is where you have to ask yourself, do I want to invest in this? Because I do believe it is over $100. I'm not exactly sure what the price is off the top of my head. I apologize, but I will leave the link below. In my opinion, right up front, I do believe it's worth the investment, especially if you plan on doing Structure and Style throughout, you know, the school years and for years to come. So TWSS is like an IEW class for you, the parent. One of the important things to know about TWSS is that this is going to help you as a parent to go through this course with your kids. Even if your kids are working independently, kind of like mine do, they just pop on the computer, they know exactly where to go and how to watch the classes, what day to watch the classes, what days to do the writing, because they're older. You know, I have a high schooler and a middle schooler, and they've been doing this course for several years. They're used to the process. The thing is even if they're in this online seminar, you as the parent are the editor. And this is what's important. To actually know and understand the editing, you're gonna have to watch the classes anyway. And the thing about that is you cannot edit this stuff correctly and use the checklist correctly unless you understand how this works. Now, the thing that I want to say up front was I watched a lot of the seminar videos from the actual class itself years before I had TWSS, or years before I did TWSS. So I knew what the dress ups were. I knew what most of the checklist was. I knew the who, which clause. I knew all of that stuff, and I'm naturally a good writer. so I'm naturally a good editor. I think what's important for me was I learned a lot of things about structure and style that's going to help me, especially as they advance, because now I understand the system so much more rather than just the chunks that they're learning in those classes. So I'm gonna go through a couple of the things that I learned personally from TWSS, and maybe that will help you as well. And I was really shocked by the amount of things that I learned. So this is not a short seminar, and most teaching seminars are not. This reminded me very much of the teacher training that I had when I was teaching still, and this was a hefty course. So yes, the class you do have to pay money for, but you get so much. You get so much content for this. And this is something that I can go back and reference for years to come with IEW. So if I get stuck on something, I can reference each video and say, okay, I'm stuck on sentence openers. I don't remember how to do that. Let me go back into the video. So when you purchase TWSS, you're going to get the access to the online video seminars taught by Mr. Pudua. And then you're also going to get the teaching writing structure and style folder binder, just like your kids get when they enroll in structure and style. And I believe you get those forever, like the videos are streamed forever type of thing, so you don't have to worry about those expiring or anything. So when you buy them, they're yours, which is great. So you can watch them as many times as you need to for as long as you have, access to it, which should be forever. There are, let me see, there are 9 units, and then you have other things in the back to help you. And after you go through this, you can actually turn in the writings that you do throughout the seminar together with the class, because he does it like with a class of adults, of parents. And you can get certified for teaching IEW, which is really cool. So there is a certification within this if you want to do so. So I'm gonna go over some of the things that I learned about structure and style that I really did not get, even though we've been doing structure and style for years. And that might help you determine whether or not this is a good fit for you and if you should invest in it. So one of the things that I now understand so much better is grading. I was always stuck on grading because he really doesn't go over grading, because he's not talking to the parents in the structure and style videos, he's talking to the kids. So one of the things I was always lost on was, how do I grade this? I have this checklist and I guess I just take off the points, and honestly I was just really torn, like, do I even grade it? Should I just say it's complete or incomplete? I was lost. I was lost in the sauce, guys. And when he broke down grading in the video, because another parent asked the question, it made my life so much easier. So honestly, it was worth it just to get the answer about grading within the seminar. I made my own keyword outline for the first time, and I have to tell you, I understand keyword outlines so much better now, just because I started making my own keyword outlines from the readings that we were doing within the class. And then I understand now why my kids sometimes get frustrated with keyword outlines. So not only can I empathize and sympathize with them now, but now I understand how to do it a little bit better. So now I'm going to be able to help them. And I think that was something that really was eye-opening for me as a parent going through structure and style. Sentence openers. Okay, so other than grading, the thing that I was always really confused on was the sentence openers. And those really confused me from a grammatical stance sometimes. And maybe it's because I came from Rebecca and like an old school grammar type of thing. We never start a sentence with because and the prepositions, and I now understand the sentence openers and the structure behind the sentence openers from the seminar. And that's the thing I think that I gained the most from. And the thing that I would buy the TWSS all over again for was the understanding of the sentence openers. I searched high and low, I watched all the videos, and for some reason I just still wasn't getting it from a teaching standpoint. And I understand now why I think the way that I think. So the sentence openers really threw me for a loop because I had to rewire my brain. So going through the sentence openers and that whole module was not only eye-opening, but it was just like, you know, like the light bulb went off in my brain. I was like, I get it now. I'm so glad that I watched this video. This video is so important, and most likely I will be referring back to that same video just because he explains it so well to where now I understand it. And now I understand the why behind it. So now when I'm editing the papers, I'm going to be able to better help the kids because I understand why he's doing that. So if the sentence doesn't make sense, I can make a better suggestion for them to where they will get the credit for using the sentence opener, which is on their checklist of things that they have to do. But I will also be helping them frame it in a little bit better way. I really hope that makes sense. Now, if you've never done IEW, you probably just think that I said a whole bunch of gibberish, but hopefully for those of you who have been using IEW for a while know what I'm talking about. In IEW, the kids have a checklist of things that they have to have within their paragraphs and within their whole paper. Now, depending on the level that you're in and the year that you're in, it's going to be different for each step. And they progressively get the checklist progressively gets longer and longer as you go throughout the course because they're adding things after they master a different thing. So it really goes on mastery level. So they master LY dress ups and now they're going to maybe who, which, or whatever. I forget how the order that it goes in, but once they master one thing, they add something else. So it doesn't feel like it's a whole bunch all at once, but when you look at the checklist on day one versus the last day of class, it's drastically different. Now, if you're not even watching the videos and you're just having the kids watch the videos themselves and you have never done anything with IEW, it's going to be really hard for you to edit anything because you're not going to understand what all of those things on the checklist are. So that's one of the things that TWSS is really good for, is to understand how to use every single thing in those checklists. When we understand the why behind it, we're going to be better editors and your kids are going to become better writers. Analyzing literature, that was such a cool video that I watched, and that's the analyzing literature video is actually going to help us when we move on to this year and we're doing the Great Christian Adventures. So I definitely see some overlap of how we can analyze some of the books, and I think it's going to really bleed into this course if they have to do, you know, reports or if they have to write paragraphs and things like that. I now understand how to teach them how to analyze a piece of literature, which is something that's going to follow them for the rest of their lives. And now I understand how to do that, and I think that's also going to really benefit me too. So is it worth it? Is it worth it to spend the extra money on TWSS? For me, it was. And I've been doing IEW for years now. We switched from Abeka when my youngest was in like 3rd grade and he's going to 7th. And I had not used the TWSS. I had always just tried to watch the videos and do it from the videos. And yeah, we were making it work, but I feel like I have such a better grasp and understanding of what's going on now. And I wish I would have watched it sooner. Honestly, I wish I would have done it sooner, but I never had the time to sit down and do it. And honestly, I never made the time to sit down and do it. But I said this summer, I'm going to do this. And I think if you have never done IEW, it's a good investment because you need to understand how the system works. You're not going to really understand how the system works unless you do TWSS, and until you actually sit down, watch the videos, go through it, and then you can teach it. And honestly, this is how a lot of us in the education world learn how to teach, is we have to be taught by somebody else. It's really hard to teach something that you don't know. And even though we've been doing this for a while, and the kids, writing has improved tenfold and more. But now I think it's going to get even better because I went through this class and now I'm going to be better equipped to help them. So I am really impressed. I learned so much from this course. I went through these classes, probably 2 a day for a while, and I did them as much as I possibly could because I wanted to get it done before the school year, and I've also been prepping a whole bunch of things, so it was really important to me that I did this seminar. I really wanted to get it in, and I said I absolutely made time for it. I, you know, stopped scrolling on my phone, on social media. I made time for it. I was watching it while I was making dinner or while I was prepping breakfast for the next morning. Even while I was on my spin bike, I was sitting there watching these videos because I was determined I was going to get this in. So I'm really glad that I made time for this. I think it was absolutely worth it. And I do recommend it. I highly recommend going through TWSS if your kids are in Structure and Style. Is it 100% you have to get this thing? No. But it is a tremendous help if you have it. And I highly recommend it. And that's my semi-professional opinion on it. I loved this course. I think it's so well done. Mr. Pudua did an amazing job, like he always does. And the way he explains things really makes it easy for you to understand, because not only is he showing you how to do it, but then you're doing it yourself. So you're getting 2 different dynamics here. You're being instructed, but then you're also doing. And that just leads to mastery for you as a parent. All right, that is my opinion on TWSS. I'm really glad I did it. I wish I would have done it sooner. I think it would have helped me probably last year, but that's okay. It's all water under the bridge now. But next year we're gonna be good, and I think that this is gonna be a great thing for all of us going through this program together. And we are all going to be better writers now after going through Structure and Style. And now that I understand how Structure and Style works a little bit better, I'm going to be a better writer just because I went through this class. I'll see you guys in the next video. I hope you have a great rest of your day and happy homeschooling.